Hello, I hope you are well today, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Because that's right, I am going to do a review of the movie that just came out, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Now, for me, these Hunger Games movies have been showing up throughout my childhood, so I've read all the books, I've seen all three movies, well, technically all four movies. Honestly, I don't get why the third part had to have a sequel, or I guess it's split, but it really shouldn't. I don't understand why. I will say I never actually read the prequel book because I wasn't sure if I wanted to hear about Snow. He already seemed kind of bad from the trilogy. So, now for like a general opinion on this, I definitely enjoyed it. I didn't think it was as good as the original um movies, like the first one and the second. Personally, because I feel like those movies really focused well on the Hunger Games and the details and the psychology of the games. And this one was like a much broader aspect of Panem. You see more political stuff, and it can be a bit disorienting at times, but it's still good. I definitely say it's still worth a watch if you like the original Hunger Games movies. So yeah, I'd say like overall it's definitely worth a watch. I really enjoyed the cast, especially the person playing Snow. I believe Tom Boyd. Yeah, he's great. I love seeing like the original like Hunger Games world, like when they were first like starting off with the games, and like the Civil War that came before that was the reason that they started the games. Because you don't get to see a lot of that in the original movies, so it's nice to get some depth into that. Because personally, I feel like whenever they do prequels, they often try to cheaply copy off what people already know in the original movies or books, and there's no point really in seeing that or reading that. But I feel like this one, they really showed a lot of new information about how Panem and the Hunger Games exactly came to be. So it's definitely a great addition to the original movies and the books. I also love the little Easter eggs that they put throughout. If you ever like watch the movies or read the books, you can try to like spot those little things. I'll go into more detail in the video. And it's not a perfect movie. It's over 2 hours, and there's a lot of details and stuff that kind of just like wasn't properly developed. But yeah, I'd say it's a solid watch. So now I'm gonna go more into depth about this. Spoiler alert. Starting off with the cast. This is an all-star cast. There is nothing wrong with the cast here. Like I liked Snow, obviously. Tom Boyd does a great job at portraying like Snow with his like charm and also his like desperation. Like he's like this boy who like looks rich, he's in the capital, but he's also hiding the fact that he has to like fight to survive sort of, because he's not exactly having a lot of money. And he is desperate at times and he can be quite power crazed. So this actor does a really good job of showing both sides of him there. And also like Rachel Zegler, I know she's had a lot of controversy lately, but she actually works really well in this movie. Specifically because her character Lucy Gray is a singer who kind of uses song to like evoke messages, and her singing is great, and she portrays that character really well. And then also a shout out to like Tigress, I think Hunter Schafer. Yeah, I loved her character. I feel like it added a nice compliment to Snow's character, and they had some great scenes together there too. And then I also liked Lucretius, the reporter. Yeah, he had the best lines. Like he had like some great comedic timing. Cause this movie's like pretty dark. It's Hunger Games. But this guy had some like scenes that kind of lit it up a bit. Like I especially like the scene where he's like, "Huh, that's not candy." And then there's like, yeah, there's that one. And there's like a lot of scenes. I just can't remember them all right now. But like, if you see the movie, you definitely find him funny. Now I will say, I love the Easter eggs in this movie too. I feel like there's a lot of like Easter eggs put throughout it. They all kind of contribute to the story, and it's like really fun to kind of spot them if you've seen the original movies. And like they feel like they make sense too. Like it definitely adds some more depth to the original movies. Like the tree song where um, Lucy sings like "Are You Coming to the Tree?" That song. They show why that song is like so symbolic to Snow because he has heard it before from. Oh my god, why do I keep thinking Rachel? Her name is Lucy. But yeah, he keeps hearing that song from Lucy, and that is symbolic to him. That's why he gets so upset when Katniss uses the song as a form of rebellion. And they also mention Katniss a lot. Like they mention like a root named Katniss, and then Katniss also does the same bow as Lucy, which is kind of like a sort of mockery toward the capital. And yeah, there's like a lot of like little details in there that really make it interesting. Those are the main two I spotted. If you spotted any more interesting Easter eggs, I guess, comment below. I have to say, the world building in this is great. In the original movies, we don't get to see a lot of like the capital, because obviously focus on the districts and the people getting sacrificed from the districts. But yeah, like they show the capital as like evil people, but you definitely get to see them more in depth in this. Because like the capital is also like their own group of people, and they all have their own lives, right? And like in their mind, they're the ones that suffered because of the war, and they want revenge by punishing the districts. So they look at the districts as beneath them because that is what they are used to. Not saying that it's right at all, but seeing this movie definitely gave them a lot more depth. Not justifying it, but just gave them more perspective. And then they also did a cool job of showing like the retro style Hunger Games, because the Hunger Games that we have in the original three movies is like a simulated high-tech island where they controlled all the natural stuff happening there. Very different than the original Hunger Games. So it was really cool to explore the early Hunger Games and see like how they were testing out their technology there, and how they were trying to get their ratings up by doing shows that symbolize, not symbolize, like they do like these like little shows with Wickerman that try to build up sympathy for them so that people can invest in more in the Hunger Games. So you get to see a lot more of like the Hunger Games forming themselves there. And of course, the plot. Now this movie is definitely long. It is specifically I think 2 hours and 38 minutes. Now, did it okay. Question is, should it have been that long? Specifically 2 hours and 38 minutes. I mean, I don't know about that. Cause like I understand why it's that long, cause like the book itself is 4 parts. And they definitely should not have split it up into 2. Cause nobody wants to see a prequel that's 2 parts. I'm glad that Doctor didn't do that again. But I will say like some scenes, like the scene with the Hunger Games, I don't think it needed to be that long, considering the fact that there's no great mystery as to what's gonna happen. Cause we all know like Lucy's gonna win, and Snow is basically just helping her through the whole thing. So I don't know if that was necessary for it to be that much in detail. I feel a bit rushed because of like how much depth has to go into this movie. Like there's like a scene where Kumenzia gets bit by snakes, and like she seemed like a personal friend of Snow. So it's kind of crazy that her story just ends with her getting bitten and then he never seems to see her again. So yeah, I feel like the snake scene could have been in a bit more detail. Also like the scene at the end where he kind of like changes. I mean, it's a great ending. It's just a bit rushed. And I understand why it's rushed because like there's a lot of stuff happening, but you know, you do your best with the adaptations. Okay, moving on to Snow. Again, as I said, Tom Blythe is great as Snow. he does an amazing job at kind of like portraying his two halves, I guess. Because, on one side of him, like, he desperately wants to bring up his social status. He thinks that he's like the capital guy, right? He thinks that he's deserving of more than the people of the districts because he's on the side of the capital. He can't stand the fact that his family is struggling and he was going to do anything to get out of it. And on this other side, he like is in love with Lucy, and he doesn't want to hurt her. He probably wants to be with her, and part of him does know that what is happening in the districts is wrong, but he doesn't want to admit to that. So like Tom Boyd does a great job of showing like Snow with both his like compassionate side and his more like ambitious and ruthless side. And I think this is shown really well in the scenes with Viola Davis. She's also great in this. Because there's a lot of scenes where she compliments him on how terrible his thinking is. Well, in a positive way, of course. And there's a lot of great scenes that Viola Davis that show this, where she pushes him to think about the Hunger Games, about how to be more ruthless and make the people suffer, right? And you see like how every time she asks him what the Hunger Games are for, his answer changes. Like first time he says it's to punish the district, which is like the standard answer. He feels the need to say that as a capital person. Then at the end, he says that it's to show who people truly are, which shows how he himself has changed into a more ruthless person after like what happened with Lucy. It is quite tragic. I will say they wrote the lines very well in this movie too, and Tom Boyd does the lines very well. And then for the ending, again, I will say the ending is a bit rushed because you see the part where he's like gets betrayed by Lucy after she kind of sees through him. He gets a bit upset, goes a little bit mad, and starts shooting at her. And then he just kind of packs up and he decides to go back to the capital and start his revenge mission and start his like ambitious way to the top. And honestly, it all makes sense. But you have to like think about it after why he did it because it happened so fast. So yeah, that is my review of this movie. I really enjoyed it, and if you like the original Hunger Games, you should definitely check it out. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye, and may the odds be ever in your favor.